The next question that I received during the course of the week, actually, this one, I'm going to do a flip. We have about 3.5 minutes remaining, and I'm going to flip this around. This is not a question that I received during the course of the week, but a lot of people I talked to this week were in a context that I was able to identify. And I want to share that context with you, and I want to challenge you today, and I want to ask you the question as well. One way of looking at how we think and how our brain works is lower and higher, right? It's oversimplified, but I'm a CPA, not a bio anything. The lower brain is the survival brain. It helps us make decisions as to what's going to keep us alive, like for the next second. And then let's call the higher brain anything that helps us make longer term decisions, like what's going to improve the quality of our lives during the next hour, during the course of the day, during the course of our lives. If you're Buddhist, during the course of our next multiple lives. And these two parts of our brain operate completely differently. And when we are in our survival brain, we don't make decisions that are necessarily in our best interest for the long term. And I'm going to start off with a confessional here. When I get in a rush, like if I have 2 minutes to get something done and I have to run, I'm totally in my survival brain. I'm rushing. If somebody comes to me with a really good idea, I don't care because I already have the map in my head of how everything has to go in order for everything to work out. So first of all, is anybody who's attending this live relating to me on this one? Get into a rush and just nothing else exists, like paddling with my hands in the river. Somebody's standing on the bank with an oar and I'm like, no, I'm too busy. That's the survival brain. And I've talked to a number of people this week who were in the survival brain because they perceived an emergency in their business. They perceived overwhelm. And I'd like to challenge anybody either on the live show or watching the show afterwards. I'd like to challenge you to post. Have you seen anybody like this in this state? It's a temporary state, hopefully. Because if it's ever a permanent state, then somebody's going to get sick. And that's going to take a toll. What are the indicators to you that somebody is operating in that brain? For example, they're only looking at cash and not looking at their business model. That's how that might show up in the context of a CFO. Within me running around the house, getting ready for something that's going to happen in 2 minutes. Hey, Art, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. Glad you found it worthwhile. Me rushing around the house doing something that I need to get done in 2 minutes, that shows up as me rejecting perfectly valid ideas because I have my own tunnel vision as to how the next 120 seconds needs to go. And that's something that I would like to challenge every person watching this to consider. When you find yourself in that survival brain, when you see business owners, leaders, people with whom you collaborate, clients, if you serve clients, and identifying that as, wow, they're making decisions in their survival brain, and saying a couple of key words, which we're not going to cover today, but I want you to understand that sometimes only saying a few key words can help somebody get out of their survival brain and realize, guess what? Your life is not actually threatened right now. And opening that up can help them look for longer term ideas, processes, ways of thinking that will actually help them in a much more solid, long-term and beneficial way. The ideas that they'll bring to the table. I'm going to even use the first person. The ideas that I bring to the table when I am not in my survival brain are much higher quality. So the state in which I'm in doesn't change my circumstances. The circumstances are the circumstances. But the state in which I'm in can help me to actually solve those circumstances, create circumstances that I like better. And whether or not I'm in my survival brain, that's actually not going to help things to get better. And so I wanted to leave everybody with that thought today, because that does show up in finances. And if you find yourself only looking at cash and not looking at your financials, you might be in your survival brain or your lower brain when it comes to making financial decisions.